What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, and as usual, I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Now, today we're going to talk about Sedona Prince and why she wasn't drafted in the WNBA. Are her WNBA dreams over? We'll talk about it. But before we do that, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, comment, tell anyone about the show. I'm trying to get the ratings up a little bit, just a little bit. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about Sedona Prince and are her WNBA dreams over. And you might be wondering, who is Sedona Prince? Well, she's number 13 right there. She played for TCU, ladies and gentlemen. She is a 6'7" stud. You know what I'm saying? Like, out of TCU, she can get a bucket. Matter of fact, Sedona actually put women's college basketball on the map a little bit more because she actually stated their facilities were lackluster in terms of the upkeep, right? In terms of what they were given access to. And she put that on her TikTok account. And as a result, she went viral because of that. So you want to give a shout out to Sedona Prince, at least, for doing that, right? However, why did Sedona Prince not get drafted? Again, I said 6'7", right? You would think just off the height alone, she might want to get draft considerations. You would think so. Well, I do think that it was a little bit different, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of why we did not get it. But before we talk about why she didn't get drafted, let's look at Sedona Prince overall, right? So overall, Sedona Prince played at Oregon, played at TCU, split time in college. During this time, all right, so here's the thing. These numbers are not actually accurate, to be honest with you. They not. Because, if we went to her overall stats, they look more like this. Like, you're going to see what she did at TCU. 18 points, 9 rebounds, 3.2 blocks. That's pretty good. Like, right there, that's pretty stellar. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to just read off real quick her overall point production. It was 14 points, 7 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 0.7 steals, 2.2 blocks, 1.5 turnovers, 2.4 fouls on 56% shooting, 29 from the field, 29% from three, and 74% from the free throw. Those are not bad stats right there to read off, especially given she's 6'7". Like, you can work with that if you're a WNBA team, right? Like, you think you can work with that. She might be able to shoot better than Camila Cardozo. All right, that's what we thinking. So again, 6'7", you cannot teach height, ladies and gentlemen. So now begs the question, well, why did she not get drafted? Like, you're hearing all these wonderful things about Sedona Prince. Why did she not get drafted? Well, ladies and gentlemen, there were a couple rumblings about Sedona Prince having a little bit of issues when it comes to off the court antics, right? Started back in apparently 2019, where Sedona actually allegedly locked the woman in a car and fondled her, and then threatened to charge because the woman did not actually come forward with the story, apparently. So because of that, she was saying, well, that's slander if you don't have any evidence. So I get why Sedona threatened to charge, right? The lady that was accusing her. You got to come forward with that situation. If you're going to make that statement, you got to come forward. You have to come forward with evidence. So I understand why. But still, that's going to make people focus on Sedona because that story is out there. So that's just one allegation out there, right? Then we had another situation where apparently she made a woman penetrate Sedona. Sedona made a woman penetrate herself with her hands, right? And it was unwanted. Now, that's 2 times now that we've gotten allegations and incidents going across. One time we can say, all right, cool, someone was lying maybe. Second time, you're going to start having a lot of doubters. So again, this is 2 instances, ladies and gentlemen, and over quite a recent span. Then we got another incident where apparently she pushes a woman off a back of a moving ATV and then drove off while drunk and then came back eventually. That's another allegation right there that we got to work out. And then there was a physical altercation with a former partner, and they both filed assault charges, right? And neither were eventually charged. But still, that's 4 incidents right there that we're dealing with. And we're talking about the WNBA or professional sports in general. We do want to have some level of professionalism. We don't want to have a lot of distractions. And that's what's perceived when we're dealing with Sedona Prince. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I do understand, although you see wonderful stats from Sedona, what I just read off might be a little unappealing when we talk about the WNBA. So again, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not just me too being biased towards Sedona Prince. We could talk about other players as well and how they have been dealt with, such as a Liz Cambage, right? Like I got to go on full screen for this one almost. With Liz, me personally, I have said that she was trash for the way she handled various situations, such as how she quit on the Sparks, even though you can say I'm biased. She quit on us because, 9 games into the season, right? Then we had this whole situation where she elbows somebody in the face in game. That's a little ugly. And it's very intentional, too. It's not a basketball play. And I understand what about in the 60s, 70s, 80s, people were kind of rough and rugged, right, on the court. Not like that, though. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit more malicious. So, again, we've seen players eventually get suspended. Like I talk about Liz Cambage, like I'm not the biggest fan of Liz Cambage, and I stand upon that. So I get why Sedona Prince was not drafted. Like it's understandable. Again, this is Liz Cambage. How about y'all don't believe me, so that I'm being fair. That's fine. How about someone like Brandon Miller? Brandon Miller was accused of, he was part of a gun situation where, long story short, somebody used a gun that he had access to. Long story short, his case was dismissed his case was ultimately dismissed, long story short. Nothing to be charged with, end of day. So he gets to play. Hence why you see him in the Charlotte Hornets jersey, right? I know a lot of people had gripes about Miles Bridges, because Miles got hemmed up in a situation where, didn't he have like some domestic altercations kind of thrown against him? And those charges were dropped due to lack of evidence. But when they were sticking, he wasn't playing. So again, I get why Sedona isn't drafted, because we've seen various situations where people weren't playing. Look at Miles Bridges. And now he is playing because, again, his charges were dropped. How about someone like Jonte Porter? Because, again, his ass ain't playing at all, because he was found guilty for shaving points, basically. And Buddy won't get in that much PT, so maybe that was the reason why he thought he had to. But he got caught, and he was banned. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, if you are guilty of stuff, I do understand. Like if she is guilty of these things, I understand why Sedona Prince is not on the NBA team, WNBA team, and I would be curious if she does get selected on a WNBA team, because there are players with height coming into the league now. So yes, you cannot teach height. 6'7" is admirable to have on your squad. It's not a need though. It's not a need. How about even someone like, this one's funny, Terry Rozier? Because, again, he's involved, allegedly, in a scandal. But there's no evidence that's kind of hemming him up right now. So, because of that, he's able to play. My knowledge. That's my intel off. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, all I'm saying is, when it comes to Sedona Prince, I understand. I understand why she ain't get drafted. And I thought she was a first-round caliber player. I thought she could have been in the conversations, maybe for a top 5. Because, again, you cannot teach height. But what you need more is a positive working environment. And that's what the WNBA is. A work environment still. Let's not forget, it's sports, but it's still a job. Still a professional game. Can't mess up the money, and that's what will happen. So, again, I understand why Sedona Prince was not selected in the WNBA draft. And I'm curious if she will ever get a chance to play. Maybe her dreams are not over. Maybe she can get a chance to return. Maybe the Chargers aren't sticking, right? Maybe she's able to paint herself in a better picture. We'll find out. But again, this just goes to show you, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter how talented you are. Again, this was a first-round caliber player, someone who could have been top 5. She dominated in college. Doesn't matter. Off the court matters greatly when it comes to the game of basketball professionally. So I definitely hope y'all have learned something. That's all I got. So with that being said, I definitely hope y'all all enjoyed it. Thank you all for listening. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone about the show. My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. Hope you all are having a good one. Take care.